Hello students. So let us start the revision of the chapter Human Values. So the name of the subject is Professional Ethics and Indian Constitution, and this subject is there for the fourth semester Electronics and Communication and Electronic Instrumentation and Control Engineering students, and the maximum hours allocated for this chapter is 10 hours, and the maximum marks you are going to get from this chapter is 30 marks. So myself Vijay Hoopi, so lecturer in Electronics and Communication Engineering Department, SJP Trust Polytechnic Nirsoshi. So let us start the revision classes here. So we go through all the question banks from the chapter, and we are going to solve all the questions with answers. So let us start with the question number 1. So that is, what do you mean by engineering ethics, and what are the objectives of engineering ethics or professional ethics? So basically, the engineering ethics is a set of rules or the set of standards that applies to the engineering profession. So being in an engineering profession, so a person should have a certain qualities, or he has to follow certain set of standards or rules, so in order to lead his or her life in a decentful way. So for that purpose we need a good ethics. So that is what engineering ethics here. So there are certain objectives of engineering ethics. So let us go through one by one. So that is the first objective of engineering ethics is to understand the moral values that helps to guide engineering profession. Second one, to resolve moral issues in the engineering. Third one, justifying the moral judgments in engineering. So these are what the three objectives of professional ethics, and basically this question will be asked for 5 marks, and so far this question is repeated 2 times, as I indicated there with the star mark. So wherever I put a star mark, that indicates what? That is the number of times the question is repeated in the semester and exam. So let us go through the second question. So the second question is, what are the key trends in engineering ethics, or list the key trends in engineering ethics. So the first trend is understanding other people's point of view is becoming increasingly important in a globalized knowledge economy. Second, people will have more responsibility at an earlier age for managing their own careers ethically. And third one is, organizations are changing in ways which create new ethical challenges. And fourth one is, the world is becoming increasingly diverse in matters of values and faiths, creating an increased demand for tolerance. And fifth one is, the complexity of our skills and knowledge raises new ethical questions in respect to technology and practice. So these are what some of the key trends in engineering ethics, and basically this will be asked for 5 marks. Okay, so let's next start with the question number 3, that is, state the two approaches of engineering ethics. So there are two approaches here. So basically ethics are what? They are the moral principles which guide the human behavior. There are two approaches here. The first one is microethics, and the second one is macroethics. So basically the microethics refers to behavior or actions between the individuals here, that is what, between the two persons, whereas the macroethics it refers to behavior or action in a group or society. So this question will be asked for 5 marks, and one time it is repeated in the exam. Now let us go through the important difference between the ethics and morality. So the question they will ask is, distinguish between morality and ethics, or they can ask what compare morality and ethics here. So I have made a table here just to give the comparison. So basically as I told, ethics they refers to the rules provided by the external source, whereas the morality it refers to an individual's own principles regarding right and wrong. So let us go through the difference here one by one. So first one is ethics. Basically it is originated from the Greek word, that is ethos, which means character, whereas morality it is originated from the Greek word mos, which means custom. So that is the first difference. And second difference is there is freedom to think and choose in case of ethics, but in case of morality there is no freedom to think and choose. And third difference is ethics remains same from society to society and culture to culture, whereas morals may vary from society to society and culture to culture. And fourth difference is ethics is widely applicable in the business, whereas morality or morals do not have any applicability to business. And last one is, as I told, ethics refers to the rules provided by an external source, right? There's something which is you get it from the outside, so that is what external source. And morality, it refers to an individual's own principles regarding right and wrong. So as I told, this is very important question from the exam point of view. So from the last 8 exams, this question is appeared 4 times here. So focus more on this question. So next we are going to discuss what are the different types of values and give few examples in each. So this question may be asked for 5 marks or it can be asked for 10 marks. So most of the time this question is asked for 10 marks, and this is important again from the exam point of view because 3 times it is repeated. So let us start with the answer. So value is it is defined as a principle that promotes well-being or it prevents harm. So now we are going to discuss the 5 core human values here. So the 5 core human values are right conduct, second one is peace, third one is truth, and fourth one is love, and fifth one is non-violence. So we are going to go through what are the sub values under the core values. So the first type of value is right conduct. So the values related to right conduct are, so first one under this you get self help skill, so under this you get diet, hygiene, etc. And second one is social skills, so under this the sub values are good manner, behavior, etc. And third one is ethical skills, under this you get the sub values like courage or duty or respect for all, etc. The second core value is peace. So the values related to peace are attention, calmness, concentration, happiness, self acceptance, self confidence, self control, self discipline, self respect, etc. So these are what the values related to peace. And the third one is truth. So the values related to the truth are accuracy, honesty, justice, purity, sincerity, etc. So fourth core value is love. So the values related to love are affection, care, friendship, kindness, patience, patriotism, sacrifice, sympathy, trust, etc. And fifth one is non-violence. So the values related to non-violence are, so under this there are again 2 values, psychological and social. So under psychological we get manners, happiness, etc. So under social we get brotherhood, care of environment, citizenship, etc. So this question, as I told, again it is important from the exam point of view, and you have to mention these 5 core values without fail. So that is right conduct, peace, truth, love, and non-violence, and you have to write the sub values later. So next we start with what do you mean by service learning, or the question may be asked explain service learning and discuss on its components. Basically this question even it is asked for 5 marks here. So basically service learning is a non-paid activity in which the service is given to the public, non-profitable institutions or charitable organizations here. So non-profitable organizations or institutions are those which are tax exempted, and they do not pay any IT to the income tax for the money what they get for their organization. So basically they are what, a non-profitable organization. And charitable means an organization which is set up for in order to help the poor people, those who are in need. So they are what? A charity or charitable organizations. So basically this service learning is a non-paid activity, so in which it gives services to the public, non-profitable institutions and charitable organizations. And through service learning, everyone, that is from young people, that is from small kids to college student, use what they learn in the classroom to solve real life problems. So service learning, it can be applied even to the schools or universities or community based or faith based organizations. So community based means they work to meet community needs, work at local level to improve the life of residents. And faith based organizations means they are what? They are the organizations whose values are based on faiths and beliefs here. So in service learning, we can involve a group of students or entire classroom, we can involve or entire school. So the benefit of a service learning is the student can build character, and he can become active participant as he work in a group, and he can become a leader. So right, he come to know what the problems the people are going to face, and he can lead the group. And so active participants as they work with others in their school and community to create service projects in areas such as education, public safety and environment. So one simple example I can give you, here is actually it is what we learn in the classroom. So that knowledge or that experience, we can use it outside to solve any real life problems. For example, any village or a group of some villages, if they won't provide any electricity, so as what we learn in the classroom is by using solar panels we can have the electricity. So this knowledge you can apply and you can place at the homes where there won't be any electricity. So this is what a kind of a service learning here. So again, this is what this may be asked for 5 marks. So next question is, what are civic virtues, and list the civic virtues one should develop. Or the other way of asking the question is, write the duties and rights of civic virtues. So this question is asked one times in the exam, and basically this is asked for 5 marks. So civic virtues are the moral duties and rights as a citizen behaves and involved in the society. So the duties are to pay the taxes to the local government and state government in time. So that is the duty of everyone. So that is, we have to pay the taxes either to the state or to the central government. And second one is to keep the surroundings clean and green. So that is what it is what essential thing, and every must have to follow this, right? Wherever you live, maybe your home or maybe the place where you are working, so you have to keep your surroundings clean and green. Green in the sense what? We have to plant more trees. And third one is not to pollute water, land and air. So for example, not to burn wood, tires, plastic materials, or even we cannot spit in the open, and even not to smoke in the open, and not to cause inconvenience to the public. And the rights are, so first one is to vote the local or the state government. So you have the right to vote in the government. Then second one is to contest in the elections to the local or state government. Again, you have the power, or you have the option or chance to contest in the elections, maybe in the state government or in the local governing bodies like in the panchayats or anywhere. Third one is to seek a public welfare facility such as school, hospital, community hall or transport facility for the residents. And fourth one is to establish a green and safe environment, pollution free, corruption free, and to follow ethical principles. So people are said to have the right to breathe in fresh air by not allowing smoking in the public. So that is what it is the right of every citizen, right? We should not pollute the air, and simply we should not even smoke in the public, because that will cause inconvenience to the public here. So that we should keep in mind, and we should not do such things. Fifth one is people have right to accept or reject a project in their area. So one has the right to seek legal remedy in this respect through public interest petition. So next question is, what are virtues? List the types of virtues with an example for each. Again, this question has asked one time in the exam. So basically this is asked for 5 marks. So virtues are basically, they are positive and preferred values. So there are 4 types of virtues, that is civic knowledge, second self restraint, third one is self assertion, and fourth one is self reliance. So first we are going to discuss what do you mean by civic knowledge. So citizens must understand what the constitution says about how the government is working and what the government is supposed to do and what not to do. So we must understand the basis of our responsibilities as citizens besides duties and rights. So that is what civic knowledge. And second one is self restraint. So self restraint is the ability to control your own emotions and actions. For citizens to live in a free society with limited government, so each citizen must be able to control or restrain himself. Otherwise we would need a public state, that is dictatorial government, to maintain safety and order. So third one is self assertion. So self assertion means that citizens must be proud of their rights and have the courage to stand up in the public and defend their rights. So first, before defending anyone, first you should know what are the duties or what are the rights of a citizen, and you have the right to defend and you can speak in the public freely. And fourth one is self reliance. So it is the ability to do things and make decisions by yourself without needing other people to help you. So self reliance citizens are the citizens in the sense they are not dependent on others for their basic needs. So they are what? Self reliant people. So next concept or next question is, explain the term respect for others with example. So basically everyone know that or we know the proverb that take respect and give respect. So no matter to whom you are speaking, right, maybe elder or younger, or maybe your boss or your colleague, or someone who is working under you. So it is the duty, or it is the thing every person should follow, that is everyone has to give respect here. So first we'll discuss what do you mean by respect for others. So basically respect for others, it is based on self respect here. So there are certain principles we have to follow in respecting others. The first one is we have to recognize and accept the existence of other persons as human beings, right? We have to treat everyone as equal, and we have to treat every person as a human being. So no matter what is his position or where he is going to live, and because even they have the right to live just as you have, right? The way you have the right to live, even the other person, they have the right to live. And second one is respect other ideas, words and actions. So means if someone is saying something, right, it is your duty to listen first and then you have to reply. You have to respect others ideas, right? Some people may have certain ideas, or if they are speaking something, or if they are doing something, so it is the duty of the person to listen them first and then we have to reply. So third one is, one need not accept or approve or award them, but shall listen to them first. So one can correct or warn if they commit mistakes. So some people may wait and watch as fun if one falls, claiming that they know others' mistakes before and know that they will fall sure one time. And last one is, so appreciate colleagues and subordinates on their positive actions, right? If you have the colleagues or subordinates and if they do something good, which is positive one action, so we have to appreciate them and we try to follow what they will do. So we have to appreciate their positive actions. So criticize constructively and encourage them. They are bound to improve their performance by learning properly and by putting more efforts. And the fourth one is, show goodwill on others. and even love others and allow others to grow. Goodwill in the sense it is a kind or helpful or a friendly feeling with others here. So as I told, so this question may be asked for 5 marks or 10 marks here, and this question has came 2 times in the semester end exam. So next we go with explain what should one do or not to do to live peacefully. So this is a question, again important question from the exam point of view. So this is asked 3 times in the semester end exam. So let us start with the answer. So to live peacefully, one should start install peace within. So that means what? So if you want to live peacefully, so first you have to install peace within, means you need to be in a state of mind where there is no pressure, or there is no tension here. So your mind must be free. So that is the meaning. So one can spread peace to the family or organization where one works, and then to the world including the environment. So only who are at peace can spread peace. So this is very important. So if you are peace, then only it is possible to spread the peace outside. Then the essence of Oriental philosophy is that one should not fight for peace. So war or peace can be won only by peace and not by the wars. So here they may ask one more question, like what are the means to be adopted for living peacefully. So means in order to live peacefully, so what are the methods or what are the means we have to adopt. So first one is order in one's life. So order in one's life means example I quoted here, discipline, self-regulation and duty. And second one is pure thoughts in one's soul. So that is loving others, blessing others, being friendly with others. So that is the second one. Third one is creativity in one's head. And fourth one is beauty in one's heart. So that is love, peace, happiness. And fifth one is maintaining good health or a body. And sixth one is help the needy with heads and heart. Then service to the poor is considered holier than service to the God. So means if you help any person who is in a need, so that is what it is considered much better than you provide service to the God. So seventh one is not hurting and torturing others either physically or mentally. And next question is list the factors for one to work peacefully. So in order to work peacefully, so what are the factors so we need to consider? So let us see one by one. First one is a conducive environment. So basically a conducive environment is what? The place where it is safe and it is comfortable to work there. So that is what conducive environment. So basically the learning process where teachers and student involve, and there is what the freedom of interaction. So that is what we call it as a conducive environment. And second one is secured job and motivated with recognition and reward. And third one is absence of threats by pressure due to limitations of money or time. Fourth one is absence of unnecessary disturbances. Fifth one, healthy labor relations and family situations. And sixth one is service to the needy, so that is physically and mentally challenged with care and sympathy. So this is 5 marks question. So next question is distinguish between caring and sharing with example, or they can ask illustrate the ethical aspect principle of caring or sharing. So this is again maybe asked for 5 marks or 10 marks. So this is asked one time in the exam. So and depending on the marks you have to write the answer here. So it is left to you how you are going to write. So but before writing the answer, first you look at the marks and you write the answer. So first we are going to discuss what do you mean by caring. So basically caring is feeling for others. So it includes showing respect to the feelings of others and also respecting and preserving the interest of all others concerned. So example, as we know, uh, in the present day concept, caring for the environment, so that is including flora and fauna. So basically flora and fauna means, flora means the entire plant life, we call it as a flora, and the entire animal life which is present in the world, we call it as what, a fauna. So in the present day context, caring for the environment has become necessary for the survival. If you do not care for the environment will scare us. So that is what, just the way how we care our children's, how a mother cares their daughters or children's, we have to care even for the environment. Caring for the environment in the sense what, we have to plant the trees, we should not cut the trees, and wherever it is possible, we have to plant more trees. So if you don't do this, what will happen, the environment will scare us. Environment will scare us means what, certain we face certain natural disasters, maybe flooding, or there is no rain at all. So all these are what, so natural disasters. And second example for caring is what, so I taken the example of a TB patient. So a TB patient beggar in the street, so if he spit, so there are chances of spreading the disease through his spit here. So his spit may spread disease. Initially he is to be quarantined to prevent the spread of disease by air, then treated to alleviate his suffering and relieve his pain. Then we have to rehabilitate him to make him live on his own and not to go for begging anymore. So this is one example of what, a caring. So simple example, you can take the present example itself, how the doctors, how they are caring COVID-19 patients, right, what they are doing. So even you can give this example, that is much simple. And next question is, what do you mean by sharing, and what are the examples of sharing here? So basically sharing is a process which describes what, the transfer of knowledge, or it may be experience, or any things or facilities with others. So transfer should be, so means whatever the things you transfer, that should be a genuine one, legal, and it must be positive and voluntary and without any expectation in return. So if you are sharing something, you should not expect that even the other person has to share the things with you. So that is without any expectation. So it is voluntary, and it cannot be driven by force. So no one will force you to share the things, but motivated successfully through some ethical principles. So if you share something with others, so that brings what, happiness and wealth. So peace, the fear and divide will disappear, benefits are maximized, and as there is no wastage or loss, and crimes and sufferings are reduced. Now let us go through the simple example of sharing. So this example, so that is what I started with, the shouting, the screaming, and the fighting. So that is what my mom used to hear every time. So that is me and sister fought over a toy. So this scenario might be you have seen everywhere, right? So if there are small childrens, a boy and a girl, so for a toy, so how they are going to fight. So mom, she explained later, why can't you share a toy with your sister? She will ask, yeah, she will ask to his son that why you won't share a toy with your sister. But son will not agree initially. So he will say what, I am sorry. So then mom, what she told, I didn't always share. So right, every time you fight, you won't share the toy with your sister. So what she used to do is, she used to keep a toy, and she used to keep it in a box, and she called it as what, a box of misbehaved toys. So means whenever both the children, they used to fight for a toy, so she used to come and she used to keep that in a box. So next, later, so he himself and his sister, they realized that, so instead of fighting for a toy, and instead of losing it, so what we can do is, we can share a toy here. So the scenario will go like this here. So my siblings and I soon realized that sharing a toy was better than losing it. So often one person would decide to just wait for a time when no one else was playing with the toy, rather than fight and lose it. So as the weeks progressed, so I noticed that the box was emptier and the arguing was less. So today I heard quite music to my ears as my son said to his sister, that's okay, you can play with it. So this story illustrates the example of sharing. So next question is define honesty. List the different ways the honesty reflects. So basically it is a 5 marks question, and this question is repeated 2 times in the exam. So honesty is a what? It is a virtue, and it is exhibited in 2 aspects, and that is what? Truthfulness and trustworthiness. Truthfulness means one should keep one's word or promise, and second, trustworthiness means it is maintaining integrity and taking responsibility for personal performance. So the different ways the honesty reflects, the first one is beliefs, that is nambike, that is intellectual honesty. Second, communication, that is either by the writing or by speech. And third one is decision, so that is ideas or discretion. And fourth one is by action, that is by means, timing, place and the goals. And fifth one is intended and unintended results achieved. So the next question is explain various actions of an engineer leading to dishonesty. So this is again 5 marks question, and one time it is asked in the exam. So the question is, on what factor we will say a dishonest person. So right, there are so many factors, so by those factors we can say that the person is dishonest person here. So here it is with respect to an engineer here. So explain various actions of an engineer leading to dishonesty. So first one is lying. Lying means what? Avoidance. The honesty implies avoidance of lying. So it is giving wrong information to the right people. So withholding the information, so it means hiding the facts during communication to one's subordinate, intentionally or otherwise. Third one, not maintaining confidentiality. So means some persons will not maintain any confidential matters. So simply what they will do is they will convey this information to the third person. That is not maintaining confidentiality. So it is giving right information to wrong people. So the engineers should keep information of their customers or clients or of their employers confidential and should not discuss them with others. And fourth one is deliberate deception. So deception in the sense what? It is using a trick to deceive the people. Deceive the people means we will say mosa madodu anta ಹೇಳ್ತೇವಲ್ಲ. So that is what deceive the people. And fifth one is giving professional judgments under the influence of extraneous factors such as personal benefits and prejudice. Prejudice means for their future benefit. So next one is define cooperation and what are the impediments to successful cooperation, or what are the causes of absence of cooperation. So it is a team spirit present with every individual engaged in engineering. So willingness to understand others, think and act together and putting into practice is called cooperation. So according to cooperation, according to professional ethics, the cooperation must be it should exist or has to be developed. So that is the cooperation must be there between the employers, or between the employee and the employer, or between the superiors and subordinates, or among the colleagues, or between the producers and suppliers, or between the organization and its customers. So basically this is a 5 marks question, and this is asked 2 times in the exam. Next is what are the impediments to successful cooperation, means what are the causes of absence of cooperation. So first one is clash of ego of individuals. Second, lack of leadership and motivation. Third one, conflicts of interest based on religion, region, language and caste. And fourth one is ignorance and lack of interest. So next question is define empathy. List the benefits of empathy. So basically again this is a 5 marks question and this is asked 2 times in the exam. So first we are going to define what do you mean by empathy. So the ability to understand another person's circumstances through thoughts and feelings is what basically it is empathy. So it begins with showing concern and then obtaining and understanding the feelings of others from others point of view. So by empathy we get so many benefits. That is, first one is good customer relations, so in case of sales and service. So second, harmonious labor relations in case of manufacturing. So good vendor producer relationship in case of partnering. And through the above three benefits, above three examples, what we came to know is we can maximize the output as well as the profit, and we can minimize the loss. So the purpose of business is it should not to make the sale but to make and keep the customer. So that is what the thing we have to follow in a business. So it is not that we have to earn the money in one day or in 2 days or in 1 month. So it is what it is, understanding the customer, right? So that is what basically it is a business here. So empathy assists in developing courage which leads to success. So next question is define self-confidence. So explain the factors that shape self-confidence in a person. So again this is asked 2 times in the exam. So we can define self-confidence as it is a positive attitude where the individual has some positive and realistic view of himself. So the factors which shape the self-confidence in a person are, so first one is heredity. So that is from the attitudes of parents and family environment. So means the place where he is going to live, and maybe from the elders he is going to learn something. And second one is friendship, that is influence of friends or colleagues. And third one is influence of superiors or role models. There are certain person who are going to learn the self confidence from their role models, right? The role models may be anyone, maybe a religious leader or maybe a actor or actor something, anyone. So fourth one is training in the organization. For example, there is what training by technical evangelist at Infosys Technologies. And next question is what are the different methods of developing a self confidence. So in order to get self confidence, so what are the methods we have to develop? So first one is encouraging SWOT analysis. SWOT means strength, weakness, opportunities and threats. So by evaluating their strength and weakness, we can anticipate and be prepared to face the results here. And second one is training to evaluate risk and face them. And third one is self talk. Self talk is what it is basically, it is a conditioning the mind for preparing the self to act without any doubt on his capabilities. So this makes one accept himself while still striving for improvement. And fourth one is study and group discussion on the history of leaders and innovators. Thank you.